Hello, welcome to another tonalist landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence. And the painting I'm bringing you today is just called Coastal 4x6. I imagine as I do some more of these 4x6s, I may put the appellation 1, 2, 3, 4 on there. I'm real happy with this one. I have to say, it may look quite a bit like other ones I've done, and that's fine because it's a bit of a I wouldn't say formula, but it's a motif that I do pretty well with here, which is a couple trees or a tree and some coast behind it. It has a lot of challenges. The biggest challenge is to have this sort of stark, like trunks against a light background. Now, that may be something you found challenging, and it just occurs to me maybe I can help you with that a little bit. So what you want to do is you see how I'm doing this drawing right now. Now we're working on a bit of MDF that's been prepped with several coats of house paint that's been tinted to match kind of a burnt sienna sort of tone. And we're painting with a little bit of burnt umber. It's got some rose madder in it and maybe a little bit of perylene green too, just to balance things out. The thing is, though, when I do this, and they say, well, okay, yeah, that's what you always do, Mike. How's that help us with, this problem of doing something dark over something light? Well, we know where these darker shapes are going to be now, don't we? We've drawn them. They're somewhat dark, but they're not as dark as they're going to end up. And it's not hard to paint around this. And even in some cases, I think if you pay attention, you'll see I paint right into it. But I don't worry too much about it because I never paint completely into it. Now, what I can tell you that's almost impossible is to, paint your whole sky in wet and then to wetly paint dark tree trunks over the top of that. That is not going to work. Don't even bother because it just doesn't work. The other thing you could do is paint the whole sky in and then let it dry and then paint the trees over the top. That's going to feel bad too. It's going to feel like the paint's just laying right on top of that other paint. I mean, it could work, but it's not a great strategy. What I've got here is a great strategy, if I don't mind saying so. So there you go. That's always one of the big challenges, even with my good strategy. Now, the other challenge I run into with this sort of thing, the composition's always a thing. How much is the tree going off the top? How much is the tree going off the side? Now, this is going to be a factor in every painting you do, and it's something I really recommend you think about and try some different things. And the place to do that, of course, is in the underpainting stage where it's easy to put paint down and wipe it off and do whatever you might want to do. Um, get those shapes feeling nice, And one thing I will say, I've seen a lot of painters starting out make the mistake of, the trees are kind of close to the top, but they don't want to take them all the way off, and so they stop a little short, and it feels cramped and weird. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Now, I was pretty happy with the way the sky turned out. These sorts of skies can be also a challenge because it's not like you're getting a full bunch of sky. You basically just have sky peeking around the main masses, and of course, on our left, we've got a little more area. What's that? The book? Hey, shipped out a couple books just yesterday, and so pleased am I to send this book all over the world. I think you will find it a valuable addition to your library. And funny enough, I'm not doing this as an electric ebook. There's a couple reasons. One is the way that the ebooks just, once they're out there, they just, there is no currency. It's just there, and that's fine. That could happen. That may happen with this book sometime. I would very much like to find a actual publisher for it. Unfortunately, I have limited resources, and I just don't really want to spend them on that. I've been really stoked and happy though. I think we're getting close to shipping out about 150 and all over the world. And I don't make much, but I make a little something. And frankly, I probably make maybe what I would make on a big published book, except a lot less of it because, it's only me shipping it out. But that's fine. It's signed, it's numbered. Go ahead and get one. You'll like it. I think you will. Okay, so the thing on the sky here is as is always my thing, I just wanted to keep it fresh. I remember here, because I did some paint not that long ago, I thought maybe I should push it further, but then I had it at a certain state, and then I thought, no, that's fine. I wanted it to have that kind of calm feel. A lot of times I like to go a bit brighter in the sky, especially up against the trees, which, getting into that bit we were talking about earlier in the video, that it kind of exacerbates that problem. But the reason I like to do that is because your trees against the lighter sky are automatically your subject, okay? That's going to be the area of greatest contrast. And your vertical shapes going over the sky are always going to be the darkest things in any painting you do. If you didn't know that, make a note of it because it's true. So, yeah, so that's going to be your area of greatest contrast. And that's always where your subject should be. If you don't know what the subject is, we know what the subject is here. It's obviously it's the trees. And let's see. The other thing I really want to kind of talk about is okay, so these types of trees they grow out here on the coast, and these are more representative of what they look like than actually the trees themselves. They tend to have does that make sense? Well, let's see. The actual cypress / pohutuca type trees that grow out here have, so many branches and trunks. It's not even funny. And what I would say to you about that, and I've talked about this in the channel a bit, but you want to simplify that. You really want to reduce that. Don't paint all those branches and infinite trunks. 2 trunks was good here. One of the things I contemplated when I was playing around was just having the whole structure come off of 1 trunk, and then maybe I could have made that work, but 2 seemed good. Maybe 3 would have been okay, depends. But I'm looking for a nice feel with things in the right spot. I'm not looking to crowd things, and that's especially critical on the smaller sizes. Now, maybe if I was painting a bit larger, I would maybe work in a few more trunks, but that simplification model is always operative. It has to be. The simplification has got to happen. You don't want to sit there and just copy things from your photo onto your painting. Yeah, I mean, you can do, and I'll be honest with you, as far as exercises go, you'll learn some painting by doing that, but what you probably won't be doing is making good paintings. And that's okay, actually, because it takes a while once you start painting to really start cranking out a lot of good paintings. I don't know if you can crank out good paintings, but you can certainly make most of the mistakes that need to be made and move on from them. Okay, so this is what I do. You can see we have, and you can see what I was talking about, that tree trunk thing. There's a little bit of milkiness there. And to be honest, when I was painting this, I did pick up a little bit of that. And it was there you can see, slightly less dark than maybe I was aiming for. But I pretty much left it. It didn't bother me. And this is the thing. You don't want to get too fussy with things in your painting. That is not going to work out for you. If you want to be a real fussy type artist, I recommend, I don't know, go for pen and ink. I used to be a pen and ink guy, and I was quite into detail and fussing with things. But painting, you need to have a bit of a looser approach. You need to have, it's all about the paint, the feeling, and the subject, of course. And, of course, you expressing yourself in real time. Yeah. Now, obviously, you would be expressing yourself with a drawing as well, but it's a different sort of modality, and I'm pretty conversant with both. I mean, I wasn't a painter for a long time. In many ways, I was a drawer for more of my life than I was a painter. And it's not like there's a huge difference between the two. You're still representing objects that are in reality in a 2-dimensional way. So the skills do overlap, but they are not the same. Now you can see what I did there. I just pulled that in a little bit further, and we're picking up a little gray, but it's fine. Now, if this painting was a little bigger, one of the things I might have contemplated was coming over some of these darker trunks with some brown or gray. I did think about it. But what I really have learned is to work on sort of an iconographic level, where everything that is there has to be there to communicate the scene. There's really no additional bits there because you really don't want that, and this is why. We got some more time. It's been a pretty good video as far as teaching and stuff goes. Hopefully, some of you are picking up on it, and I know some of you do and will. Okay, yeah. One other thing. I had to pause and sneeze, so you might hear a sniffle. Sorry. Okay, I was working with a student last week, and we're doing a scene not like this, but a lot of what I'm talking about, trees are trees. Whether they, in fact, this is a lot more challenging than many sorts of tree paintings could be because you have nothing but light-colored sky and ocean behind the trees. So that is a bit more challenging than, say, if you had grass and other tree-colored sorts of things behind the trees. You got a lot more flexibility there. Yeah. But we were painting some trees, and in the reference, you get these really interesting, beautiful, twisty kind of branches, and she was saying, "Going to sink her teeth in those and get into those," and I'm like, "Nah, let's not do that." For one, we were painting 4x6. For two, okay, and we got like a minute and a half here. I want to talk a little bit about theory, tree painting theory. I paint a lot of trees, so I have a lot of ideas about it. And I'd say, that twisty, really interesting tree that you came across, you think, oh, I could paint that. It'll probably make a better photo than a painting. Honestly, the more twisty and odd the tree is, the more it provokes questions in the mind of your viewer. Now, maybe you're that kind of artist. You're the twisty, scary tree painting artists, and if that's the case, great. But if you're more like me, just a person where the trees are a part of the landscape that you want to be integrated, that you want to be complementary, actually the subject as well. You need to really think about not. Well, that's one other thing we got a minute to talk about. So you don't want a bunch of twisty weirdness. Yeah, just make it do the job it needs to do. But here's the thing. These edges, like my edges here are pretty clean, and that's okay. I can get away with it because there's a lot of contrast there is the subject. So there's another thing you want to always keep in mind. Where you have the sharpest, cleanest edges in your painting, should always be about where the subject is. And with the edges of, like when you're swiping through some wet paint with your dark paint, as I did here, granted I had left myself a little path from the underpainting, which really did help me. Be careful, sometimes I will go over that lightly with a brush that has almost no paint in it, just to tweak that edge a little bit, because you don't want that to be too hard and too clean. You want to have a little bit of give to it. And all I can tell you is to look at this in your own work critically and ask yourself, is this edge too hard, too clean? Is this one of the things that I may be doing wrong? And if it is, adjust it. Because I hate to tell you this, but there's almost infinite things in a painting that you're going to need to keep track of and keep straight. And what's actually kind of sad is how it doesn't really pay that well. Because it requires a lot of skill and effort, But I don't mind. I'm going to do this. Hopefully, I'll get to do this until the day I die. And any support you can give me is very welcome, by the way. I'm just out here on this island doing my thing. And I love helping people, and I love teaching, and I love painting. So you got some extra means or something, and you made it to the end of the video, maybe tip on over to my site, and if you throw me a cup of coffee or something, there's a PayPal donation thing. I think there is even underneath the video. So see what you can do. See what you can do. I know I don't do much myself, but I try. And anyway, that's it for this video. So thank you for that, and I hope you're having a great week. And I'll be back real soon with another video. I'm going to try and pull off a palette one this week. I don't know exactly how or when, but I'm going to try. And until I come back with another video for your edification and enjoyment, hopefully for your edification, do me a favor, do me a solid. Take good care of yourself, your family, all your loved ones. Nothing's more important than family, you know. Stay out of trouble. God bless you and your family. And fight the power.